When I have the opportunity to speak to people who are new amputees, or maybe people who've been amputees for a long time but are struggling, the first thing that's really important and that I love doing is just listening. I will tell you, if you talk to any amputee anywhere in the United States, everyone has an incredible story. My name is David McGill. I'm from Centerport, New York. In December of '96, my wife was going to grad school, and there was an evening where one of her professors had invited us to a Christmas party, and we had a really nice time. Shortly before midnight, we started driving back home. It was one of those just miserable early December nights where you got snow and sleet and slush. And as I looked across at this vehicle that was stopped going eastbound on Northern Boulevard, the driver of that car, a young woman, was standing outside the car. And I was watching other cars skid and try to avoid her, fishtailing around her. And I commented to my wife, if someone doesn't get out and help her, she's gonna get herself killed. I got out of my car, shone the headlights of my car on the stranded vehicle, told my wife, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Now, I started to describe to you like what I told my wife. I don't actually remember saying that. I remember driving up to the intersection. I remember saying someone better help her or she's gonna get killed. And then almost everything I remember after that was really told to me after the fact by my wife. But I got out of the car, stood behind her vehicle to push it across 2 lanes of traffic to just get it into the gas station that was literally 30 feet away. And at that point, the gas station attendant who was standing behind me flagging down traffic got hit by a car going eastbound on Northern Boulevard, and I was right behind him, and I got hit and crushed between the cars, tossed down the road, and my wife ended up running into the gas station, placed a call to her parents actually, saying Dave just got killed. I was very fortunate. There was an off-duty EMT group at another gas station across that intersection at the time. They ran into the road immediately and started trying to administer care. First to the gas station attendant. They actually thought that I was dead. I wasn't moving. And then I started moving and my wife screamed at them and they came and started working on me. I don't remember any pain. I don't remember the impact. I remember waking up in the intersection, trying to push myself up off the ground, and my wife was screaming at me to stop moving. And I remember putting my head down on the pavement. The pavement was really nice and cool, and I remember just closing my eyes. And then the next thing after that I remember is waking up in the hospital. The first thing I remember saying was, did they take my leg? And my wife looked at me. It was just me and my wife. I was in the ICU. We were just in this curtained area. And my wife said, yes. And I said, okay. And I went back to sleep and passed out. My whole rehab was set around, tell me how long it'll take to do something and I'll try to beat that. There was a 10-kilometer race every April in Plainview. Got through that race and then returned to work immediately after that, trying to just continue to normalize my life as an amputee. After my accident, I went back to the law firm that I'd been working at prior to it, and they'd been phenomenal to me. But I knew pretty much right after I got back, I said, oh, I'd had this huge life-changing experience. I was like, I gotta do something for me that's more meaningful than where I was. My current day job allows me to work from home. So I've been a remote employee since 2006, and I get to fight every day to get access for patients to prosthetic devices, to make sure insurance companies aren't inappropriately limiting access to those devices. In its simplest form, make sure people get exactly what they want, exactly when they need it. About a year to the day after my accident, I said, I'm gonna go down to Jones Beach and I'm just gonna ponder what I've been through. I don't know what I was expecting, some sort of mystical experience. It's the middle of December, there's no one at Jones Beach, it's really cold. And I sat down there and didn't really have any revelations. And I was driving home and I was stuck in traffic, predictably on Long Island. And I remember just all of a sudden, like from nowhere, the thought occurring to me, I have learned so much over the last year about myself, about my family, about my friends. Like I learned who my friends were and things that were really important to me the day before the accident had no meaning to me after the accident. And I said, if I could have my leg back, but I'd lose all of that knowledge, I wouldn't take the leg back. And when I told people this, most of them looked at me and they said, that's kind of crazy, you know, like you're talking stupid stuff, Dave. I was like, yeah, I know, like it doesn't make any sense, but you have to have lived through it for it to make sense. In a weird way, like this was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. It gave me a totally different sense of perspective, purpose, and it led me to a career and relationships with family and friends that are far richer and deeper than anything that I would have had if I was just, an able-bodied guy who'd gone home that night and called 911.